All right, welcome to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and today is October 19th, 2021. Hey, if you're watching this show and you haven't liked if you haven't pushed the like button to let me know you like the show, get off. I don't even want to see you anymore. Come on, hit the like button, let me know you like it. And of course, hit the share button. Just click the share button. It'll share and that other people can see it as well. And of course, you can comment live during the show on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and even Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. Come on, we got to build this up. Let me do this, and I want you to enjoy it. I want other people to enjoy it as well. Of course, as you know, Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com. There you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. And on today's show, we'll be talking about the market update, how well the market did today. We'll be talking about the infrastructure bill and where did it go? We'll be talking about more EV batteries. We'll be talking about the Bitcoin ETF launching, the Southwest vaccine or the Southwest Airlines vaccine issues. We'll be talking about Facebook's hiring lawsuit, and of course we'll be talking about some picks that I think will be really good going into earnings season. So let's start off right away with the Dow Jones being up almost 200 points. Wow, that's pretty cool. Not a bad day at all. The S&P was up 33 points, and the NASDAQ is up 107 points. Not a bad day. I'll tell you, the NASDAQ, if you remember last week or a couple of weeks ago, was getting hurt. It was down 400 points one day, 300 points another day, 200 points another day. In the last 2 days, it was up pretty well. So it's not bad. By the way, I just want to let you know that Netflix just had their earnings, and boom, they have new subscribers and solid beats on earnings, which means Netflix took off, and that also is helping, as everything else, it's also helping the market. Let's talk a little bit about that, that thing that the Democrats were talking about a couple of weeks ago that nobody's talking about anymore. The infrastructure bill. Do you all remember the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill that Polinsky, what the hell's her name? Anyway, and the rest of the Democrats proposed last month? The one that wouldn't cost anything because the Democrats would just tax the rich to pay for it more. Did you remember AOC's AOC's dress that had painted on it? It said tax the rich. Oh boy. Well, anyway, it appears to be falling apart completely as some Democrats are actually learning how to do math. The original bill provided for many social programs such as child care subsidies, Medicare expansions, and increased child tax credit, universal pre-K, and 2 years of free community college, as well as broad investments in green energy. It had all of that. Anyway, these parts of the infrastructure bill were called, wait for it, the human infrastructure part of the infrastructure bill. That's right, human infrastructure. Seriously? As we all know, politicians love to make things sound like something different when they present them to the press, who then presents it to us, the people. So they wanted to call it the human infrastructure part. Anyway, don't misunderstand me. I need you to understand that I do appreciate the good nature of helping people with some of these issues when it's appropriate, but sneaking in on these non-infrastructure parts of the infrastructure bill are actually what's killing the bill. The very few non-socialist Democrats left in the USA are calling foul and saying that the Biden cronies promise, wait for it, infrastructure, like roads, bridges, railways, etc. They're even okay with some of the new technology ideas like solar and electric vehicle chargers placed everywhere. But hey, let's get real here and make them separate bills with the two separate agendas. The price tag is also an issue. Some non-communist Democrats are actually saying, hey, we just spent billions and billions on relaunching the economy, which, by the way, should have never been shut down, but that's a whole other issue, and we don't have the money. They also know the truth about the answer of taxing the rich. Yeah, I don't know how I can't get that word. It never happens that way. The middle class makes up most of the tax base, and frankly, you can't tax the rich enough to make up for this middle class tax burden. So now we wait as politics takes its ugly side. Possible payoffs, bribery, blackmail, or just plain whatever. We want to blame someone. It'll be in the plays in the next few months. We'll see what happens. Don't forget, we also have the debt ceiling vote coming up again in December. This is going to be fun as well. What a political ball play this is. The debt ceiling doesn't have anything to do with this bill. However, politicians and so-called journalists are saying they're part of the same issue. No, no, no. Let me tell it to you straight. The debt ceiling vote outcome is already predetermined. Even if the Republicans and a few holdouts on the Democrat side vote this down, the money is already spent on the process of reconciliation. This is the constitutional process that, in layman's terms, says if we as a country make a promise to pay for something, we must pay for it, even if we have to steal the money from future generations. The debt ceiling will and has to be raised. It's either going to be raised by vote or something called reconciliation. Either way, we're paying those payments as promised. It ain't going to go away. So watch for this. By the way, this bill and the debt ceiling issues are going to pop back up in mid-November, and because of this, the market's going to turn downward fast around mid-November. Watch for this, be in cash or in puts to save yourself the headaches. By the way, the news on this bill and the debt ceiling is mostly muted right now as the market enjoys great and possibly the last great earnings season for quite a few quarters in the future. When it starts to rear its ugly head again, watch out, because the market's going to go downward, and I'm going to tell you, look for it. Let's talk a little bit about EV batteries. As supply chains remain in distress across the globe, automakers are spending billions to move the production of battery cells to their home countries to meet what's expected to be rapidly growing demand for electric vehicles over the next decade. So President Braindead has closed down oil pipeline and of course caused gas and heating fuel prices to skyrocket. But the companies who know that in order to keep the future world going, they must produce EV batteries here in the US to avoid supply chain problems in the future. So they're going to create the EV batteries here, even though they have to get the oil somewhere else. So whatever. We have seen how the global chip shortage has affected the production of cars and other appliances. So again, the US automakers are making sure this doesn't become a problem in the future. I'm not sure how the batteries are made, but I'll bet the required mining of key materials such as lithium will have an environmental effect on the planet, as it uses so much water to mine lithium that in a drought situation, people of certain areas may not even have tap water. That's right, tap water. Well, at least they won't be drinking the water contaminated by natural gas and oil pipelines anymore. Oh, they'll only die of dehydration now. Okay, this is the cynical me, reminding you that every technology, every new fuel type, and every new discovery can and will have possible consequences. Look at COVID, for example. Who would have thought that a virus similar to the common cold would cause side effects like socialism, fascism, or Nazism? All right, guys. All right, let's talk real quick about the Bitcoin ETF. The ETF is here. It's here. Yay! So today it finally launched, the Bitcoin ETF, and this is going to be epic. The ETF is based on the futures of Bitcoin. Basically, they're option contracts that will bet on the future price of Bitcoin. This is similar to oil future contracts. If some of you remember, oil futures actually went negative about a year and a half ago when the economy took a hit. Understand that this fund will not own Bitcoin. That's the most important thing to know. It will not own Bitcoin, but it will be based on the futures only. I will tell you that this could be very dangerous if Bitcoin doesn't move high enough to make up for the time value of locking in the future price. The price of Bitcoin climbed up today, and it was reaching new record highs, and it'll probably hit around 65,000, which is the record. I even believe it'll hit about 70,000 soon, and then it'll hit some resistance. But to fully understand the ETF, you need to understand basics options trading and know that the underlying asset has to continue to rise from the point of buying the option, or in this case, future value. I'm looking forward to see how this plays out, but I would also watch the price of Bitcoin and see how it affects the ETF before even considering this investment. Frankly, I believe if there's a large downward hit in the price, it would be a good time to get into the ETF. Either way, I'm staying out for a little while. I want to wait and see how the market responds to this ETF. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in a little while, and we'll talk about the rest.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Felder Michelle Cohn and Larry Steinhouse about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend investor schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. Investorschooling.com.
Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. Hey, did you hit the share button yet? Hit the share button. Share this with somebody, will you? Also, hit the like button. And listen, you can also leave comments on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. Leave a comment now. Let me know that you like the show, or even if you have any questions, I may be able to address them before the show's over as well. So far, we've been discussing the market update. It's been a pretty good day today. The Dow is up almost 200 points. The S&P is up about 33 points. The NASDAQ is up about 107 points. It's just a really nice day. And as I said before, Netflix just posted their earnings, and they did pretty well. Actually, the stock was up just a couple of minutes ago, and it probably will continue to do well. We talked about the mysterious infrastructure bill and why it disappeared off the face of the earth for a little while, but it'll be back, and I predict it'll be back in early November or mid-November, along with the debt ceiling debacle. We also talked about the fact that EV batteries, that people are going to be making EV batteries in the United States because they're afraid that they won't be able to get the EV batteries. Makes sense to me. We also talked about Bitcoin's ETF and how to stay away from it for just a little while, but it's doing pretty well in its IPO. Kind of neat. All right, let's talk about Southwest Airlines and the vaccine. So first of all, last week, Southwest Airlines had major problems when many employees called in sick all at the same time. Was it COVID? No, it was the reaction to the vaccine. No, I don't mean the vaccine itself. I mean the reaction to the Supreme Leader Biden's mandate to have everyone at major companies with 100 employees or more to be vaccinated. Southwest had stated in a memo to their employees that all must be vaccinated or they must enter a religious or health exemption to be free of the vaccine burden. In other words, you can't just say, I don't want it. You have to have a valid excuse. So it has to be for for these reasons, right? So Southwest stated that the employees who have not been vaccinated or have not been approved for their vaccine exemption will be put on unpaid leave as of December 8th. Unpaid leave, isn't that being fired? I don't understand. I mean, whenever I didn't have a job, I was on unpaid leave too, right? But actually, maybe not. It could actually keep the employee from getting unemployment benefits. Anyway, after what appeared to be a labor action, Southwest management changed their policy to state that you must submit your request for a religious or medical exemption by November 24th. If they are not approved, or if the exemption is not approved, the employee can still work. So I'm going to tell you that here's my medical exemption in case I ever work for a company like that. I'm terrified of needles, especially the ones with substances I don't fully understand. I will tell you that this is a movement in the right direction. The only way to beat tyranny is to stand up to tyranny. I appreciate Southwest Airlines' position. Just remember that they can't just say that their employees can be Americans with freedom of choice, as it should be. They realize that the government will not use them for transporting criminals anymore. The government officials. All right, let's talk about Facebook and their hiring problems. So Facebook settled claims that it refused to recruit or hire U.S. workers for positions it set aside for temporary visa holders, the Department of Justice announced today. It also settled separately with the Department of Labor over potential recruitment violations through a program that makes jobs available to temporary visa holders. Under the program, companies must make good faith efforts to recruit U.S. workers for the roles. So let me tell you a little bit about this, because this is something I'm actually familiar with. As a former IT contracting company owner, I often came across this, as it was actually hard to find American employees in IT. We also knew, however, the rules, and it consisted of posting the job in papers and local job boards to prove that you're actually trying to hire American employees. What Facebook basically did was they either got caught just posting it and not really intending on it, or they did a shortcut to the process, assuming they couldn't get American workers. On the other hand, it could have been that they just wanted to pay a lot less for IT people that can be hired for about 1/3 of the price of Americans. We all know Facebook is an anti-American company, by the way, and they censor, I should say, patriotic Americans, but they're proven to be the capitalists they adamantly comment against. Looks like this was good news for the stock, though. Facebook popped about 5 points today and has moved up nicely after the end of the Wall Street Journal's bashing of the company to manipulate the price of the stock a month before earnings. And if you were watching this show or had attended classes at Investor Schooling, you would have been invested in this stock or option and have been very happy this week. I closed out my position. I made a lot of money this week. I was real happy to see it. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take another quick break. We'll come back. I'll talk to you a little bit about my picks and what I think the market's going to be doing. Investor Schooling needs a new slogan.
Investor Schooling? Never heard of.
Investor Schooling?
Never heard of.
Investor Schooling? Never heard of them.
Any suggestions? Phil?
Investor Schooling. We never heard of you either.
Investor Schooling. We never heard of you either. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
Investor Schooling. Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling? Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling?
Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling. Those guys are everywhere. Register for a free.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. Hey, hit the share button. Hit the like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know you like the show. I'd like to know that you like the show. That way I can continue to do the show. Because if you don't like it, I'm not going to do it anymore, all right? Tell me you like it, so I'll continue to do it. All right, cool. So we've been talking a little bit about some of the things today, and some of the things we talked about were the fact that the Dow is doing really well today. It's up 200 points, S&P 33 points, the NASDAQ up 108 points. We also saw that that Netflix had solid earnings on and also solid new subscribers, which kind of surprised me. But here's the earnings per share. It was 3.19 versus 256, which is fantastic. The revenue was exactly what they predicted, which is 7.48 billion. But they added some more subscribers. They have a total now of 4.4 million versus 3.84 million, according to whoever the report was, which is phenomenal. That's actually very good. I just want to see real quick what the stock is doing. I'm curious. And there we go. So the stock is only up about 1.5 points right now, which is surprising, but it did pop. I did see it pop about 20 points earlier, so I'm kind of surprised that it's only up about 1 point, but that's not unusual. You know, you got to remember that a lot of times with, especially with stocks, that even if the earnings are good, they don't necessarily pop. So just keep that in mind. That's something that we teach in Investor Schooling too. All right. Also, you need to remember that, hey, of course, earnings season continues, and we have some really great earnings coming up. So we have Tesla tomorrow, and we have IBM on deck for tomorrow as well. Tesla, to me, is always an interesting play. I mean, it's so unpredictable. I remember one quarter when they missed numbers so badly that it was actually recorded as the worst quarter they ever had and lost more money than they ever lost before, but the stock went up about 40 points. Wow. We'll see what tomorrow brings, as Tesla delivered more cars last year than any quarter they ever predicted in the past as well. J&J also did well, and the stock jumped about 4 points. It was a great play, and I predicted it last week, and I told you guys to get in. Of course, crypto has the ETF driving up the prices, at least for now, and I would expect Bitcoin to break records this week and as it heads for it as I speak. I'm so upset that I missed that play. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh man, I had a buy at 2.25 and I waited, and sure enough, I didn't get it, and now it's at 300 already, and in less than a week. Boeing also looks like a great play to me right now. I jumped in today at about 215 and bought options into February. I also bought more CCL and AAL into February and April. Look, the world's going to be coming back, and if more company employees like Southwest take a stand, the tyranny from the Supreme Leader Biden will end, and we can live normal lives. Let's go, Brandon. Keep watching this show for more great market tips and insights. Let me know if you made any money from some of the stocks, because it would be great to see it, great to share it, and it would be great to know it. Thanks again for watching Money Chat Now. Did you hit the share button yet? Did you hit the like button yet? Come on. Hit it, hit it, hit it. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook as well. From time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed in this show. The opinions discussed in this show is solely mine, and no one has asked me to discuss them. Thanks again for watching Money Chat Now, and we look forward to your continued support, and we'll see you tomorrow at 4:03.